How to make your M Audio Oxygen Pro Mini into a drum machine. You can sing along as you play your song with auto accompaniment drums. Your M Audio could be a drum machine with a lot of genre to choose from, like rock, pop, gospel, reggae, R&B, name it. Maybe you are performing live on the go and you have this predefined but flexible virtual drummer allowing you to change tempo. You can change the rhythm for stanza, for chorus, bridge, and you can add fills. And it also has intros and beautiful ending. Expand your creativity with your own portable drum machine. Composing music will be easier anywhere, anytime. Before we continue, why don't you click that subscribe button? Okay, so let us remove all these existing instruments. So let us add piano here. So we are going to assign this 4 pads to a drummer, to a virtual drummer. So we're going to add our solid drummer. Here in solid drummer, this is C1. Right. Okay, next will be to add a ripcord. So ripcord is not an instrument, but rather this is a VST that will convert the input to a different output. So for example, you might want just pressing one chord, it will play a chord, or it will play a different keys. For example, let's edit this, and for example, this is what 1 2 3, this is C3, and for example, pressing C3, I want this to press this part here, this C4. You're going to just edit this. So click this and then click here. So you might want to name this first, sample 1, and save it there. So pressing this will play this like that. So let's try it again. It's going to edit, click here, and for example, I want the output to play chord like that. Save it. So this means that pressing C will play these keys because I assigned it to this input, to a different output. So pressing C3 will have the output of this because I've already set this to those chords. Now imagine the possibilities of controlling all other VST instruments that we have, and we can modify the function of this M Audio Oxygen Pro Mini. For example, this is actually here in our ripcord. Pressing this is actually the equivalent input C1 in our ripcord. So C1, this is C sharp, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, and G. So this means pressing this should be converted to a different output, and we are going to change the function of this to align with our drummer. So here in our solid drummer, C3 is here, right? And for example, instead of here is C1, as you can see, pressing this is C1. So how about pressing C1 will play the C3. So we're going to use the ripcord, and instead of pressing C sharp 1, it should play this E3. So let's try this. So C1 should play C3, and C sharp 1 should play E3. So let's try that. Okay. So click ripcord, and we're going to edit this. Click edit, and let's just remove this first. It's as simple as unclicking this. Okay, now let's play. Let's edit, and pressing C1 should play C3. C1, C1, C2, C3, and the output should be C3. And the C sharp 1, click this arrow button here to save it. And pressing C sharp will play E3. And click this arrow to save it. And now if you're going to play it, look at this. Pressing C1 will play C3. And pressing C sharp 1 will play E3. So in solid drummer, C3 is this, and E3 is this. So pressing C1 should play C3. How do we do that? We are going to change the input port and the output port of this VST. So here, this is the ripcord, and this is the solid drummer. Okay, so the input port is actually the M Audio Oxygen Pro Mini controller, and the output, we can actually change this into any number that we want. For example, I'm going to output the ripcord into 5, and here in solid drummer we are going to get an input from the output port 5. So this means that the output port 5 will be the input in our solid drummer. Okay, so here is the ripcord, here is the drummer. So pressing this is playing C3. And pressing this, C sharp will play E3. So let us continue. For example, pressing this should play a different output of, let's say, here, C4. Let's try this. Edit. Pressing this will play C4. So C1, C2, C3, and C4. Click the arrow button. Pressing this here will play here E4. So C1, 2, 3, 4 here. Click the arrow. And then this, we're going to use this as the fill. So pressing here will play the fills here. So this is G sharp 3. So G sharp 3. 1, 2, 3. G sharp 3. Click the arrow and here. Also another fill. Yeah, you can use that for another fill. For example, the fill will be here. A B flat, B flat 3. So B flat 3 is 1, 2, 3. B flat is here. Save it. And this, what can we do with this? Maybe we can use this as the special here. This is G4. So we're going to change this into G4. So clicking this will play the G4. C1, 2, 3, 4. The G4. That's it. Save. And here we can use this to just stop or do the ending. Maybe this ending. This is C sharp 4. So let's change that into C sharp 4. C1, 2, 3, 4. C sharp 4. So that is the ending. We're going to save it. So this means that pressing this will trigger all of that. So if we're going to close this and we're going to play the record, so we can actually, oops, yeah, so let's play. Pressing this will play here. Take a look at this. Look at this below here. So pressing this will play C3 as we have predefined, and that is the C4, and this is the E4, and the fills, special, and the stop. So what if we are going to click the latch mode? Clicking the latch mode will be like playing drums, right? And of course we have the fills, or the fills to a chorus, or the fills to a special. And the stop. This is the ending. So that's how it should be done. Okay. Now we're going to so it's still playing other notes because we have not set the other part of the keyboard is still functioning, so we're going to restrict that using this. So this is C3. We're just limit this into until G3. From C3 to G3, that must be the only note that it will play. So other notes will be disabled. Only this part. So that's how it's done. Okay, now we have restrict it to, look at that, this is C3, because just take a look at this, just look at that, because you can actually change the root note, but we'll just leave it at that. We might discuss this in the next video, how to change this. Okay, now how do we play piano? We're going to make a layer here. Where is that layer? And then we're going to group this, the FL keys and ripcord, and we're going to set this as the children of this layer. And now if we're going to click this layer, right, so you can play and also play the drums. So how do we stop this C1 to G1? We're going to just restrict it, right? So in the FL keys, we're going to remove or restrict it from here. We're going to just play the C4 and up. So the FL keys will not play this part because we restrict it, right? So when we are going to play the layer, okay, so next will be to control the volume for each instrument. Okay, so this is the mixer, and first that we're going to add to the mixer is the FL keys. So right click on it and assign to a new instrument track. So that is the FL keys in the track number 1. And of course the solid drummer, we're going to assign this to the new instrument track. So this is the drummer assigned to the second track. Now to control this using the MIDI controller, we need to link the mixers to here, to the faders. So to do this, right click on the FL keys and link to controller, and then just move the faders and it will automatically linked. And then let's do the same with the solid drummer. Link to the controller and move the faders, and there it goes. The volume is moving. Now one important thing also in playing drum accompaniment is to control the tempo. So let us link this to the controller. For example, we will be linking this to this knob here. So take a look at this tempo here. It's moving as we rotate the knobs. Okay, that's it. So let's try.